Today I'm going to show you how to eliminate duplicate values in a database using Corvid. What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in again with your boy Nino, and I got a tutorial for you guys today, and that is on how to eliminate duplicate values in a data collection with Wix using Corvid code. Okay, so what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to get some user input data elements. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one. I think this is cool to have. So let's see, we're going to change this to no placeholder. Let's do a placeholder text and we'll just call it first name. Okay, first name. All right, and then so I want to make this required, and then I want to keep this as a text name. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to duplicate this by pressing Control D or Command D if you are on a Mac. Okay, and then I'm just gonna move this over just a tad bit. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I double clicked on the element, but I'm going to change the placeholder name from first to last name. Okay, and so this will be just like a reservation that you want to get their first name, last name, and say if they're coming or not. So we can do that. Also, we need to get their email address. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Control D or Command D, and I'm actually going to center this. Okay, however possible I can. All right, now once I have that in place, I'm going to change the settings. Okay, I'm going to change this to email, and then I'm going to put here as email. All right. So now you have their email and all that stuff. Now we need to put in a user input that says, are you going or are you not going? And then we'll create the data set. So I think I'm going to use, let's see, what am I going to use here? I'm going to use a selection. So I'm just going to use one of these selections here. Drag that over just to keep it consistent. All right, and then we'll put a question on there. And we'll say, are you going? Or RSVP. RSVP. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that required. And then I'm going to manage the choices. I'm going to add multiple and I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to say no. All right. And then I'm going to say undecided, so that they get those undecided people in there also. So I just set that. All right, and then now all I need is a button, and then I can start creating the data set. So let's see, we're gonna go to buttons here, and then we're going to go to our theme buttons. All right, I think I like this one. I like that one. Okay, so now I'm going to put here RSVP. All right, so I'm gonna change this to RSVP, or I'll just say submit, just to make it a lot simpler for the user. All right, so we got the submit button here. All right, good. So now all we need to do is go ahead and duplicate that, and we'll put that here. And I'm going to go ahead, just to make it a little bit fancy, I'm going to say RSVP, and I'm going to bolden that and bring this up just a tad bit. Okay, so I gotta actually do that. Don't forget to select it. Alright, so RSVP. Okay, sweet. So now I have every element that I need in order for people to RSVP for my event. All right, so now I'm going to go over here to a database, and I'm going to add a new collection. I'm going to name this, so start create a collection, and I'm going to name this event. Okay, now depending on how you want it, I like to keep mine lowercase. just for that aspect. We're gonna make this a form submission, okay? And then we're gonna create the collection. All right, so now that we created the collection, what we have up there on our first screen is for people to give them the first name, last name, the email, and then if they RSVP'd or not, which is the yes, no, or undecided, and then the submission button. But we don't need to include that. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say first name. I highly suggest that you guys, if you have one or more words in your field name, make sure that the second okay, so the second word moving on to like the third, fourth, and the fifth word always have a capitalized letter on there that begins with it, because it will get kind of confusing after a while if they're all lowercase in this sense. All right, so we're gonna make this a field type of a text. All right, and then we're gonna get last name. Okay, we're gonna make that a text, and we're gonna make email all lowercase. Also, we want to keep email as text because they don't have anything else here that shows up for us like that. So we'll just say text. All right, and then we're gonna add that. Okay, now we want to RSVP. So we want to see that RSVP come in, and we're gonna actually have it come in as a text file. All right, a text item. All right, now I'm gonna get a little bit fancy, and I'm going to put as the title, it's gonna be the email as well, or it can be the first name and last name. I don't know what I want to do yet, but once we get into the coding, I can actually see if we can do that or not. All right, so let's see, what am I going to do next? All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, let's add a hook. And we want to add a hook before insert, okay? So let's go ahead and add a hook before insert, because we don't want the information to be in there and then we don't have, then we'll have duplicates in there, because many people can submit the same amount of information every single time. Now we want this to be an event before insert, so we're gonna keep that here. But what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to say import data, import Wix data, okay? And we're gonna have to make another export function. Okay, so we're gonna have an export function, okay? Make sure you take that semicolon out, all right? And in this function, what we're gonna do here is we're going to search, okay? So we're gonna search for duplicates. So we're gonna say search for duplicates, all right? And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna search it on a collection, just to be broad, all right? And then we're gonna do a field type, okay? And then we're gonna do an item, all right? And this will come into play when we do a before insert of the item and the context. All right, so now what we want to do here is we want to return this back into our actual event before insert, okay? So we're going to do Wix data dot query, and we're going to do the query of event, okay? So once we have that, we're going to say a dot find, okay, well, excuse me, equals first. We're going to equal based upon the property's name, okay, which is the field, and then we're going to do item and field, okay? So we're going to actually use this collection property to use function for multiple collections, okay? And this is what we need to use. All right, and then we're going to do a dot find, all right? And then we're going to do a dot then. Always have a dot then here, and we're going to be sending back some results from that dot then. So once you have that, go ahead and do this. Let's see, we're going to return the results, okay? So we're going to return results dot items dot length, okay? So that will come into play once we call this function here, okay? Now we also want to do a catch error, okay, just in case that something has created an error. We can actually see that message come out in the console log. Okay, so we're going to do here, and we're going to say let error message equal error. Okay, and then we're going to say console log dot error, just so that we can see the error come through. Okay, all right, so now let's go ahead and see if we can return values that are not found. Okay, so this will actually call a routine to check if a value already exists in the collection, and if your value not found, then it will save the record. But else, if the value is found, then it will reject the inserted to prevent duplicate values. And I just want you to get a note that concurrent inserts may result in duplicates. So pass context to search for duplicates to use for multiple collections is the best way possible. All right, so we're going to do search for duplicates, and then we're going to have the context of that collection. Okay, that's the context dot collection name. All right, and then the field that we're going to look at is going to be email. We want to look at the email, make sure that the email is the correct email and it doesn't get duplicated. All right, so then what we're going to do is then we're going to look at the results, so res, and what we're going to do here is we're going to add this here. Okay, so if, like I said before, if the value is not found, then save the record. Okay, so that means we're looking at if this result comes back as greater than 0, then it will go straight to returning a rejected promise. Okay, and if not, and this value is equals to 0, it's going to return that item. Okay, so let's go ahead and say res is greater than 0. Then we're going to return a promise dot rejected. Okay, and the reason for this rejected is this item exists. All right, and exclamation mark. Okay, now in this case we don't actually need this else. That would just be repetitive. But if it doesn't go through that if statement, then what we want to do is we want to return the item, and that way that will be saved automatically into the database. Into the data collection. All right, so once we have that, what we want to do here is we want to go back to the event signup page that we created, and now what we want to do here is we're going to add our elements, content elements, which is the form data set. All right, once we have the form data set, we want to click on the settings and connect that to the events data set, which I gotta wait, just waiting on it. All right, any day now. There you go. So we're gonna do event, and it's going to be write only. Okay, and boom. Since we have that in place, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and link these data sets up. All right, link all the fields to the data set. And that's what I'm going to do right now. First name with first name, last name with last name, and then email. Come on, email with email. And then the RSVP value, which will be connected to RSVP. All right. Now all we have to do is connect this submission button to be an on save or submit. Okay, and then once it's successful, we can create that success message, and then we can create a failure message. All right, so now we're gonna pull this all the way down here, actually, and center it just a little bit up. Almost there. There you go. And then I'm gonna double tap in here just to create the alignment to be centered. All right, and then I'm going to grab the error, and it's going to be in the same spot as our submission. And what I'm going to do is edit that text to be centered as well. Okay, so boom, now we're almost done. Okay, all we have to do is connect and actually run this database. Okay, I think everything is straight and in place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview this and I'm going to test it out. This is the process that any developer has to go through, and here we go. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to put in I'm going to put in our name, which I'll say creatively, and then Nino, and then I'm going to say creatively at Nino. All right, so I'm going to say yes, I am going. Now let's go ahead and submit that. Boom, our content has been submitted. Great, and there's no logs to show from it. So that means that it actually went through and we have no problem with the data set, and it inserted the right way correctly. Now, if I want to go back here and put in another name, Nino creatively, and I say creatively at Nino, since we put the parameter on our email, it should come back saying that there is an error. Which it didn't, so that's a good thing, and a challenging thing. So let's see, Nino, and then we're going to say creatively at Nino, and I think the reason why it actually submitted, because you can't tell if this is capitalized or lowercase, so that might be why it didn't show up being the same, as it is case sensitive. So I'm gonna say undecided, and I'm gonna keep it just like that, and boom, there it is. This item exists. Great. So now I found out my debugging process, which was this wasn't showing the lowercase or uppercase value, and so that's why I was wondering why it went through the second time. But now that I just kept it the same, as whatever it is, it's capitalized is on right now, so I guess that everything is capitalized, and so that's why it didn't go through, because hey, it's the same thing. It's case sensitive and it's the same thing. So boom, we have it there. We have a working non-duplicate database. All right, so now let's check back into our database just to make sure that this did not go through, and to show you guys that there was a problem with the upper and lower case that I found out about the email. So we'll go back here to our event, and we can see that, oh wow, this is a lot of messed up stuff, but we can see that this is all caps and then this is all lowercase. So that is why these two duplicated each other. So that is about it. I have my two entries here, one that is uppercase and one that is all lowercase. And so if you guys have any questions about this video, please drop it below. I really enjoyed doing this for you guys, and yeah, hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay guys? Alright, ciao.